So welcome to the new era of real estate. Whether you've been keeping up with the local news or not, there is a new property buyer's advisory that's out there that every Oregon buyer should receive. This 27-page document is here to help educate you about your risks, rights, and responsibilities as a property buyer here in the state of Oregon. Now, even though this document is 27 pages long, if you were to look at every single link within it, it's going to probably be around 1,700 pages long. Now, what I'm about to go over today is going to give you some information about the highlights of the document. It's not here to replace you reading it by any means, but it's going to cover some of the more important topics of it. It is still your responsibility to review it, and definitely if you want to read all 1,700 plus pages, do so, because this is, again, one of the most important decisions that you'll be making in your life, more than likely, in buying a property for you and your family. So let's go ahead and go over it. Section 1, the purchase and sale process. It covers the MLS information and data. Now remember, when people are putting information in the MLS, which is what you're reading off of all the websites that you're searching for properties on, that information is gathered by sellers and or realtors or public sites such as government information sites for that county. That's not always accurate. So if there's something important for you, like the square footage, the exact square footage of the house, or the lot size, or anything else about the property, it's important for you to get more information, dive into that, get specifics about that, because not always is that correct. Again, we're relying on the information that's given to us. And if it's something that you are unsure of, then it's up to you to make sure that that is correct. It also covers offers and counteroffers. So as soon as you make an offer, until it's mutually accepted by the other side, it is not a valid contract. Sometimes the seller will give you a counteroffer. Again, until you accept that counteroffer, that property is still on the market. If you counteroffer their counteroffer, again, that property is still on the market until all people have mutually accepted all offers and counteroffers within a contract. So fair housing and love letters. So you've all heard about the love letters, how we write something about ourselves just to make our offer look a little bit better. Those are legal, but they can also be read as discriminatory. So you want to be careful in what you're writing, and this will give you some guidance in that. Now, while it's against the law to be discriminatory in reading these, sometimes we give too much information, and it just gives you some guidance in writing the proper love letter, or in a seller reading the love letter without being discriminatory against you. It also covers escrow and closing costs. It explains what escrow is and what closing costs are, how your earnest money is handled, and how it can be returned to you. Section 2, purchase and sale agreement considerations. It talks about inspections and disclosures. Now, as soon as you purchase a property in Oregon, you should have the right to inspections. It gives you ideas of different inspections: general inspection, radon inspection, sewer scope, and many other different types of inspections that you may want. There's well inspections, there's septic inspections, there is lead-based paint inspections. Again, it gives you a whole list of different inspections that may be important to you for this property. Also, in the state of Oregon, by law, the seller has to give you property disclosure statement. This is a 7-page document that discloses everything that they know about the property and should be filled out in its truest means by the seller. If there's any additional information that they have, then it could be longer, giving you an explanation of what they know could be wrong or could affect the property or has affected the property in the past. So by law, you should be reading those. It gives you an idea of what to look for in that. Also in it, it talks about title reports and HOA rules. So in a title report, which comes from the escrow company, there's going to be links to documents that are recorded in title on that property. These links, again, are something that you can read and should pull up. It could be a lien against the property. It could be an easement against the property. It could be rules and regulations, covenants, codes, and regulations that may affect the value of the property or may affect your use of the property. It talks about how to read those. HOA rules and regulations. Again, the realtor will be reading those for the resellability value of a property, but you should be reading them for your use of the property and if it's going to affect your use. So it gives you an idea of how to read those and what to look for to make sure that you are covered in what you are going to be using the property for. Financing and loan considerations. It covers why it's important for you as a buyer to have a pre-approval letter. It also covers some of the mortgage considerations and some of the mortgage contingencies that are within the offer that protect your earnest money. Other important advisories. It talks about wire fraud advisories. It tells you why it is important that you're not wiring money to some account that may not be involved in this transaction at all and could be at a loss to you. Talks about audio and video recordings that could be happening during showings. Remember, all of us have Ring doorbells and other things, recording devices that may be in our homes. We don't want to be talking about specific things within a house that may be affecting our potential offer or insulting the seller. So be cautious when you're in a house. There may be recording devices, and it gives you a little information about that. It also gives you some ideas about homeowners insurance and natural disasters, what you should be asking your insurance agent for a specific property, and some of the natural disasters that could affect the insurability of that property, such as a flood zone or any other type of natural disaster that could occur. So it gives you some ideas on where to check for those types of things. It also covers historic properties and land use. Remember, when you buy a historic property, to keep it that way, there's certain things that you may not be able to do to that property to modify it. And there's also some things that could give you a tax benefit. If you buy a historic property, it'll give you some ideas on those. Oregon Property Buyers Advisory is one of the most valuable resources you will have in your home search. Now, it is not here to replace the knowledge of a realtor, but it is here to give you some great insight and asking the right questions for your home search here in the state of Oregon. If you would like a copy of it, please feel free to reach out to me and I will send it to you.